you so much for coming here today. You guys are about to be wowed. There's 5 young innovators. They are developing solutions for challenges that we face today. Take it away, Matt.
Did you know that since 1918, over 100 years, day-old chicks have been sent through postal delivery and flown by plane? That is able to happen because when chicks hatch, they have a yolk sac in their abdomen that provides the chicks with all the nutrients they need to sustain themselves for the first 3 days of life. Hello, my name is Mac, and this is my project, Safer Chick-Ments. I designed a safer shipping container for day-old chicks. I'm a poultry farmer and a poultry 4-H member. Through my experience as a farmer, I observed shipments of chicks that arrive with significant losses and injuries. As a result, I identified a need to examine what could be done to improve chick shipments. Through my research, the current industry mortality rate is reported as being up to 20%. I also discovered that improvements were much needed as no patent application had been filed since 1963. I originally thought the mortality was because the chicks were getting too cold. I was wrong. It was more complex than that. Testing brought to light many issues I found in the currently used shipping containers. I addressed these by designing a raised false floor to provide a compartment for heat packs, a necessary feature in winter, eliminating excessive localized heat. This compartment can also hold cooling packs for warm conditions, and a round insert which prevents birds from being crushed in the corners. My series of testing resulted in no morbidity or mortality. A good sign. The production price of my new design for a 25 chick box is 89 cents per box, which is not more than the production cost of currently available boxes. This new design was welcomed by the local farmers and poultry experts who reviewed it. I now have a patent-pending design, and my boxes are production and market ready and meet international air transport standards. As well, these boxes have a wide range of potential customers. My design is ready to go, scalable, as it is designed for 25, 50, and 100 chicks. With trademark protection, a website, and initial production run complete, this has the opportunity to address an unmet need in an industry that often comes under pressure for animal welfare while economically benefiting farmers. The cost of loss in chicks, time and future earning capacity is significant. Yes?
I'm wondering, why do you think no one has actually addressed this before? So you said you're addressing an unmet need, yet for a long time the chicks have been shipped in a different method. So what is it that made you see this need, and why hasn't it been addressed in the industry before?
Well, I live on a poultry farm, and I'd received these shipments of chicks, which is what made me think of it, because I was concerned with the high mortality and morbidity rates. The most recent patent pending design I could find was in 1963. I think one of the reasons this issue has not been addressed since 1963 is this design worked and was made a standard. And for large hatcheries, it's a cheap idea, and I think people have just accepted the fact that these birds die. Oh, they're so young, less than 3 days old, they're being shipped. Mortality is just something you have to accept. And nobody has, I think, just sincerely thought about changing it.
So Mac, is this a one-time use after the farmer receives it? Then do they dispose of it, or do they reuse it? Such as we use like shipping blankets and airbags when we're shipping beer, as do many other people across the country in North America, but we reuse all of them with partnerships between CP and CN. So is it a one-time, a one-way, or is it something that can be reused?
When I was looking at different materials, I ended up keeping with cardboard because this is a rule. You cannot reuse the boxes because at 3 days old, you don't know if the birds have any viruses or diseases that can be spread on, and they're going to poop when they're in the containers. And if you put other birds in it after and they're sick, those birds will get sick. So it's actually against the rules to reuse the containers, which is why cardboard is the most cost-effective.
Okay, great. I'm not a chick farmer, obviously. Great answer. No reusing.
Do you have any clients yet ready to use your product?
I have discussed with some hatcheries in Canada and other people who have shown interest. Nothing is finalized yet, though.
And the feedback you've been getting from them?
All the way through during this process, I was regularly going to local hatcheries and farmers and asking for their feedback. I actually started by going, do you find concerns with this container, or is it just me? And then they said yes, and I went, well, what is it that you think I should start with? Where do you think I should start? What's your concerns? And from there, I regularly contacted them and said, is this kind of following what you're thinking? Does this make sense to you? So yes, the feedback I have received is all good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Mac, that's incredible. That's amazing.